Consider the master artisan who has poured years of skill and dedication into crafting an object of exquisite value. He knows its worth, the fineness of its materials, the hours of labor, the vision brought to life. Yet if this treasure is presented dimly lit or amongst common trinkets, or without a clear account of its quality, will its true value be perceived by those who pass by? Many will overlook it, or worse, assign it a lesser worth than it commands. It is a harsh truth of our human condition that perception often trumps reality, and you who seek meaning, who perhaps carry a depth of feeling and experience that others do not readily see, may have felt the sting of this truth more acutely than most. You may have found your insights dismissed, your capabilities overlooked, your character misjudged. This is the burden of being underestimated, the peril of unseen value. Perhaps you have found that good intentions alone are insufficient armor in a world where ambition and self-interest often dictate the course of events. You may have believed that inner worth, like a pure light, would simply radiate outwards and be acknowledged. Yet, history and human nature teach a sterner lesson. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel or truly comprehend the depth of what lies beneath the surface. To be consistently underestimated is not merely a slight to one's pride. It is a strategic disadvantage. It leaves your flank exposed. It means your counsel may go unheeded when it is most needed, your strengths unutilized, and your boundaries trespassed because they are not perceived to be fortified. For those of you who possess a sensitive nature, this constant misreading can be a source of profound discouragement, a quiet sorrow that erodes the spirit if not properly understood and addressed. The prudent mind understands that the world operates not as we wish it, but as it is. And in this world, value unperceived is often value unacknowledged and therefore unrewarded and unprotected. And if you were to observe your own life as a historian, what patterns of self-deception or strategic misjudgment might you identify, where your own genuine worth was not adequately presented to the world? Why the perceptive are often misperceived. There are several reasons why individuals of substance, particularly those with introspective or spiritual inclinations, find themselves underestimated. Firstly, there is the common error of equating visible assertiveness with capability. A quiet demeanor, a preference for reflection over declamation, can be misinterpreted as weakness or lack of conviction by those who only recognize strength in its most overt and often crude manifestations. They look for the roaring lion and fail to see the cunning of the fox or the endurance of the mountain. Secondly, it must be said that the display of genuine virtue or depth can, paradoxically, make others uncomfortable. Your inherent light may cast shadows upon their own insecurities or ambitions. To underestimate you becomes a subtle defense for them, a way to maintain their own preferred order or to avoid confronting their own shallowness. Envy, as I have noted, has no remedy but the grave, and it often begins by diminishing the object of its gaze. Thirdly, and most crucially for our purposes, is the failure to strategically govern one's own presentation. This is not a call for boastful displays or false airs. Rather, it is an understanding that virtue, that potent combination of skill, strength of character, and prowess, must not only be cultivated, but also, when necessary, demonstrated. To possess a keen mind or a resilient spirit is essential. To ensure these qualities are recognized when circumstances demand is a matter of prudence and effective self-governance. Consider the fate of Girolamo Savonarola in Florence, a man of profound conviction and moral force, who for a time held sway over an entire republic. Yet his inability to adapt his methods to secure his position with more than just fervent preaching ultimately led to his downfall. He possessed a form of power, but he underestimated the forces arrayed against him. and failed to fortify his influence through more worldly means. His story serves as a stark reminder that even righteous conviction without strategic acumen can be tragically insufficient. Commanding your true worth. Principles for inner governance. If you find yourself consistently underestimated, it is not a sign of your inherent lack of worth, but rather a signal that your strategy for engaging with the world requires refinement. Your inner state is your primary domain. Its governance demands your utmost vigilance and wisdom. Understand reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Cease to expect the world to automatically discern your inner qualities. Recognize that human beings are creatures of perception, often swayed by appearances and immediate impressions. This is not cynicism, but realism, the necessary foundation for effective action. Your sensitivity and depth are treasures, but they must be housed within a well-defended fortress of understanding. Cultivate. Strategic visibility. This is not about arrogance, but about discernment. There are times for quiet contemplation, and there are times when your capabilities must be made manifest. Reflect upon the moments where your silence was misinterpreted, or where your reluctance to assert your knowledge allowed lesser counsel to prevail. Consider this. A prince who wishes to be respected must make himself respected. This involves ensuring his actions and his words carry the weight of his true abilities. Your actions must speak, and sometimes your words must carefully illuminate the meaning of those actions. Arm yourself with prudence and discernment. The fox, as I have often written, is as essential as the lion. The lion possesses manifest strength, but can be caught in traps. The fox, through its cunning and understanding of terrain, avoids these snares. For you, this means developing a keen understanding of human motivations. Discern when to reveal your strengths, to whom, and in what measure. Not everyone is deserving of your deepest insights, nor is every situation an appropriate stage for the full display of your powers. Prudence dictates that you conserve your energies and deploy your resources wisely. Reflect upon whether your actions consistently align with the value you know you possess. Or have you, perhaps, allowed habits of self-effacement or a fear of being misunderstood to obscure your true capabilities from those who ought to recognize them? Let your virtue shape fortuna. Fortune, that unpredictable torrent of circumstance, often favors those who are prepared, who have built not only inner reserves but also outer manifestations of their strength and competence. While you cannot control all external events, you can control your preparedness, your responses, and the manner in which you project your capacities. When fortuna presents an opportunity or a challenge, it is your cultivated virtue, made visible, that allows you to seize the moment or withstand the storm in a way that commands notice and respect. This is how one begins to shape circumstance, rather than merely being shaped by it. The unvarnished path to inner authority. To be underestimated can be a hidden advantage if it allows you to observe and prepare without scrutiny. But to remain perpetually so is to live beneath your station, to deny the world your fullest contribution, and to leave your inner peace vulnerable to the misjudgments of others. The path to commanding your true worth is not paved with wishful thinking or the hollow affirmations of a superficial age. It is forged in the crucible of self-awareness, strategic action, and an unblinking understanding of human nature. It requires that you govern your inner realm with the same seriousness and strategic insight that a wise ruler applies to his state. Your worth is inherent. The task before you is to ensure that this worth is not merely a private knowledge, but a recognized force. This is not about seeking validation from an often fickle world for its own sake. It is about creating the conditions whereby your inner truth can find its rightful expression and its necessary influence. for your own well-being, and for the quiet strength you bring to those few who can truly perceive it. True strength and wisdoms are often forged from experiences of deep pain, disillusionment, or the sorrow of being unseen. Let these experiences not be the source of retreat, but the impetus for a more profound and strategic engagement with the world. Knowing these truths, by what principles will you now choose to navigate the complexities of your life and secure the peace of your inner